Hello and welcome to another Gospel broadcast from the Christians who meet at Bridgeend Gospel Hall in Coinning. Thank you for taking the time just to watch this short video. Firstly, I'd like to read a short section from the Bible, and it's found in 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7. And it says, "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." When Scott asked me to come and speak to you via video instead of the normal way of meeting you in person, it got me thinking. Video calls and online meetings are now being called the new normal for work, school, university or college, and even family events are now being presented online. I've even heard in recent days of a few weddings where numbers are being limited, so the weddings are being broadcast online so that family members further afield and more people can enjoy the wedding. In some ways, this technology, it's been around for a number of years, but the reality is we've not really embraced it. Well, I know I certainly haven't. However, at the end of March, when we went into lockdown, we're almost forced to embrace this video technology. At my work, it was quite interesting. Conference calls used to be always voice calls, and people would dial in and speak to each other. But as time went on, we started missing that interaction with each other. And one after another, the videos started turning on, and we could see each other rather than just hearing each other's voices. We were missing that social interaction with each other. However, another strange thing started happening at that point in time. We all started getting a bit vain, didn't we? I don't know about you, but you watch these videos and people are in their houses and you wonder where the makeup artist has been, because they're all getting their faces on to be on the video. And I was worrying about my haircut, lockdown haircuts. And you've seen the politicians and people being interviewed on the news, and they were sitting in their chairs and they always had a bookcase behind them, don't they? And there was a bit of a competition to see who had the most intellectual books in the background. We're all getting a little bit vain. I even heard a story that someone had started printed off book covers to cover their books so that it had more intellectual books and they appeared then more intellectual to the people who were watching. Well, I don't know how your bookshelf would look, but if it was mine, it probably would be the Asterix, the Bruns, the Hardy Boys, and of course, a few Bible books in there as well. The fact that we're a bit vain or shallow isn't really a surprise to us if we're honest with ourselves. The verse I've read today highlights that to us. Man or mankind looks on the outward appearance. We're vain. We're only quite shallow, skin deep. When I've thought about this verse, there's really two lessons that I want to leave with you today from this verse. Firstly, all of us, if we're honest, recognise that we're a bit vain, a bit shallow, and therefore we're quite quick to judge others on their outward appearance. You'll remember Susan Boyle back in 2009 on Britain's Got Talent, and she appeared on the stage, and we all judged a little bit, did we not, that this was going to be car crash TV. We were all looking forward to her failing, sadly. And then she opened her mouth and she started singing, and we were all shocked at just how amazing, how incredible her voice was. Maybe just all of us need to be that slower to judge each other and kinder in our interactions with each other. The second lesson I really want to learn from our voice is the second part of the verse. The verse says, "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord," or God, "looketh on the heart." So whilst we are vain and shallow, God is totally different. He's not really interested in our looks or our homes, but he's interested in our heart's condition. Therefore, we really need to consider the condition of our hearts before God. This reminds me of another verse in the Bible, which is again found in the Old Testament, in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9, which says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked." If we can all recognise that we're a bit vain, then we also need to recognize this truth, which is we all have wickedness in our hearts. There's just that in us, is there not? Even in a little child that is disobedient to its parents. And we're all just, in our hearts, we have that wickedness in us. That's a real problem for each and every one of us. We all individually need to get our hearts right with God. The question this verse then triggers is, how do I get my heart right with God? Well, the answer to this question, as to most questions, is found again in the Bible. And it's found in Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10. And the New International Version says, "If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved." I'll just leave these two lessons with you. First of all, we're all just a little bit vain. The second thing, and more importantly, that we need to recognize is the condition of our hearts, and that God looks on the condition on our hearts, not our physical appearance. I really do trust and pray that you'll consider these things seriously and get your heart right with God. Perhaps in coming days, you'll be in a video meeting and you'll perhaps just catch yourself in that moment being a little bit vain. I trust if you do, you remember this verse. "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." And the key point in all of this, which is that our outward appearance isn't really that important, but getting our heart right with God is absolutely essential. If you've got any questions about anything that I've said today, or would like to speak to someone about these things, then please get in touch via the details that will be on the screen shortly. And may God richly bless you. And thank you once again for listening.